evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Rebel Wrap-Up. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter, broadcasting live from the Circuit World of Blue Ridge, who we want to say thank you to for allowing us to host the show here this week and each week as well. And then also, before we go any further, I want to give a shout-out and thank you to our food and beverage sponsor, which is Papa's Pizza To Go and Pepsi. Now, for the next 30 minutes, we're going to be talking all about the Fannin County Rebels high school football team. And right now, the Rebels are 5-3 overall and 2-2 in the region. So we're going to be talking about their previous game this past week against Dawson County, and then this upcoming game this weekend against the Lumpkin County Indians. Now, it is homecoming week for you guys, so exciting stuff. Definitely looking forward to this week's game. And also, we are in week 11 of high school football, so we've only got 2 more games left in the regular season, which it's hard to believe how fast time goes by. I've been saying that every week, I think, since I started hosting the show like 3 weeks ago. But, you know, it's almost here, the end of football season. So we are in region play, and so I want to give everyone a little bit of a look at the region. Now, the Rebels play in Region 7 of Class 3A. And at the top of that region, we have Greater Atlanta Christian sitting with a record of 5-0, undefeated in the region so far. Then we have North Hall and Dawson County, who are 3-1 in the region and tied for that second place spot. Then your Fannin County Rebels are 2-2 in the region. And then Cherokee Bluff sitting at 2-3. Then East Hall and Lumpkin County are 0-4 in the region and tied for that 6th place spot. So that's a little bit of a look at the region there, and we'll talk more about the region schedule towards the second half of the show. So I want to introduce who I have here with me on the sofa right now. I have head coach Chad Cheatham right here to my right, and then going down the line we have offensive line coach Jeff Kuna. And then we have junior Tommy Ledford, who plays defensive end. And then we have freshman Logan Long, who plays defensive tackle and nose guard. So how are you guys all doing tonight?
Doing well, thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Well, glad to have you all out here. And like I said, I know it's homecoming week. You've got a lot going on. It's busy. You got a lot of festivities happening. So I want to say thank you for coming out and for joining us this week. So we do know that last week's game was a tough one against Dawson County, and you guys fell 51-7 on Friday night at Dawson County.
You didn't have to say that. You could just say.
We kind of know what happened.
That's okay.
All right. Well, I'm sorry, Coach, but tell us a little bit I wasn't there, so tell me what happened on Friday night.
You know, it's one of those deals where you're kind of beat up going in, and you're playing a good region opponent, and we didn't play well again. A lot of distractions and things that went on last week, and we've just got to do a better job of what we do preparation-wise and things like that. But it is what it is at this point. We just got to continue to work through it, continue to do what we do. You said it, we're 5-3 with a chance to clinch this week. And so keeping the main thing and doing simple better and focus one game at a time.
Mm-hmm. Do you agree with that, Coach Kuna?
Yeah, you look at a situation like Coach alluded to. We're a little bit thin right now. If we look at our starting lineup a month ago compared to last week, you know, we're missing several of our quality starters are out, and we had some guys had to step up, and it was a big game against a very quality opponent. But like Coach said, that's behind us now. Now we just got to look at Lumpkin and worry about, you know, taking care of that business and getting in the postseason.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, Coach. Now, Coach Cheatham, I think I asked you this question last week as well, but tell us a little bit about how you encourage the guys this week to sort of brush that game off and say, okay, well, it happened, but we're going to move on from that and go into the next game.
Well, I think you do the same things. You don't build one game up bigger than the other. I think you prepare the same way. Obviously, with 5 wins, I mean, when things happen, when injuries happen, you got to control the things you can control, and the things you can't control, you got to have to forget and move on. And somebody's always there that will step up and play and give great effort, and they did. You know, we were just outmanned a little bit, and then but we go back to work on Monday and stay in routine. The highs are never as high as the lows are lows, and I think we got to remember the focus is that we won 5 football games, and they hadn't won 6 football games since 2010 here. We got an opportunity to do that, make the playoffs for the second time in AAA football, and have a winning season in AAA football. That's never been done at the history of the school. So you've got to be encouraged that all things are not lost. You got to keep fighting. You got to keep preparing. You don't change your philosophies. You don't do any of those things. You just do what you do. You trust your kids, believe in who you got, and try to make them believe.
I agree with you, Coach. So now you've been alluding to some players that really stepped up on Friday night. Why don't you tell us about some of those guys that filled in where it was needed?
Yeah, I mean, Logan was sitting here as a freshman. I think Logan, as over the past several games, has really played well up front defensively and kept our linebackers clean. I thought Seth Reese probably played one of his better games offensively and defensively. Without Bundy, who's still sick and not being in there, we had to shuffle some folks around. Chris Scott got hurt in the first series at center, so we had to take pickle Dylan Collins and move him to center, and then you take Rico Arianes and put him at right tackle. And he did a fantastic job. I think you've always got to look for the little positive things. And even in a tough loss, there's still some good things that happen. And too many times we dwell on those negatives and we don't dwell on the positives.
Now, also, I do, and Tommy and Logan, I don't want to leave you guys hanging out there, so I'll come to you guys in just a minute. But you hit on another thing, Coach Cheatham, the positives from this game. Tell us about some of those things that did go right. And so you saw that on Friday night and said, okay, we're going to take that and continue to build on it for the rest of the season.
The kids that stepped into a tough situation where they never played before, played really hard and gave great effort. Effort's something you can't coach. You can coach execution, you can coach schemes, you can coach X's and O's, but you can't coach effort. The kids played hard, played to the best of their ability. What else can you ask of them? They do the best they can do. I mean, it is what it is. That's success. And success is measured in a lot of ways. You ask a kid to do everything he possibly can do, and he does that, kid's successful.
You're exactly right. And just the little bit of experience I have, from what I've seen, if you have effort, you can build on that.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt.
So Logan, Coach Cheatham mentioned you and how you stepped up into that defensive role. Tell us what that was like on Friday night.
Well, at first it was very nervous. I was so nervous. Going from middle school ball, having maybe a few people there, and going to varsity football, and it's everyone's there watching. It's really nerve-wracking, but when I got in the groove, it really just and got to know the team better. It's just normal now.
You're exactly right. You're a freshman. That's awesome that you're a freshman playing on the varsity team. That's incredible. What is that like?
It's really cool to me being able to do that and just step up and really just help the team out. I just want to help the team out whatever I can. I play any position as long as I help the team. So
that's great. I know these guys have got to appreciate that too. That
Oh,
you're willing to step
Well, I
up.
mean, Logan and Tommy, for everybody. I mean, these guys started in December. Oh man, I mean, Logan started with us in December. He was wrestling and with the middle school, and then he was working out with us in the morning. This guy's paid his dues. He's done a great job for us, and I'm glad it's finally paying off, and he's getting playing time, and he's going to be a letterman for us as a freshman, which is, it's not easy to do, and it's not normal. This guy's great, just like Tommy and the great kids.
Logan, that is awesome. Congratulations. And Tommy, I want to come over to you as well. You're a senior, so that means junior. Junior. You're a junior, which means you're an upperclassman this year, and you're going to be naturally stepping up into sort of a leadership role based off of that. So tell us a little bit about how that's been going for you.
I've been trying to help some of the guys out, and sometimes I get a little mad at Coach Kuna right here.
Gets mad at me.
Tommy's got a lot of my personality. He gets excited real easy, and he likes to keep people up in the stands and cheering and things like that. So I think he's my shadow behind me.
And also, I think, I hate saying this but I'm going to say it anyway. I think I'm the spirit of the team, Coach.
Yeah, but I agree 100%, Tommy.
Yeah, you're great.
The spirit, man. Great at what you do.
Every day in practice,
Every
same
day.
thing.
Every day. Bring it.
Yes, sir.
That's what you got to do. So are you the guy that I've been to a couple of the Rebels games. Are you the guy that I always see waving your arms trying to get the crowd pumped up? Is that
Tommy.
That's Tommy.
That's
And I
awesome.
think that's important to mention that everybody has a role. And whether you're on the field at all times or you're not, we express roles, and accepting your role and Tommy's one of those guys that every single day when we come in, we're smiling and laughing, and he's practicing hard. He's on the scout team and doing the things he's supposed to in a classroom and on the field, and it's a joy to see those. Those are the little things I'm talking about. Those battles and those victories that you see that you got to praise every single day, and Tommy's a good example of that.
That's awesome, Tommy. So spirit of the team, I like that. That's really cool. Spirit of the Rebels. That's what we'll start calling you now. Spirit of the Rebels. So tell me a little bit. Whenever you get out there on the football field, just come naturally. Do you just feel it?
Yeah.
You just know.
I think it comes naturally to me, and also because I normally I'm super pumped up for the games because it don't matter what situation we're in, don't matter if we're winning or losing. I still get the team up no matter what. Because I think we just.
Always got a chance, right?
Yeah, I think we all still got a chance.
Yeah, and that's really important, especially for you guys, because Coach Cheatham and I have talked a little bit about it on the previous shows, how you guys have the toughest part of the region later in the season
That's right.
versus maybe having it spread out or having it towards the beginning. So that is really important that you're pumping up your teammates constantly and getting them excited, because I know these guys have got to appreciate it. I
We
know
do
that your
appreciate it
teammates have
very
got to
much.
appreciate it too. Well, with that being said, that's going to close out our first half of this segment, this week episode of Rebel Wrap Up. I'm your host, Lauren Hunter, and when we come back, we'll be talking about this week's game against Lumpkin County. We'll talk a little bit more about the nitty-gritty of football.
Very good.
So don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
The underdog. The long shot. The nobody from nowhere, never gonna happen in your dreams, kid. 100 to 1 shot. We know something about that. That putting your feet on that path to greatness and grinding it out day after day is a long, long road that can lead you to the promised land. And that's why we believe. We're with you every step of the way.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
I'm Jeff Riblett, President of Asset Protection Group. As a certified financial planner and with 20 years experience, I've helped thousands of families and business owners create a tremendous amount of wealth. Fortunately, most of that wealth has been protected. Don't allow an unforeseen life event, such as a nursing home stay or the next market meltdown, destroy your family's wealth. Be smart. Call me. Let's determine how best to protect your assets and preserve your wealth.
Circuit World has complete queen bedroom packages at amazing prices. Get this queen bed, dresser and mirror, one nightstand, bedding set, and free 32-inch TV, all for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this complete queen bedroom set and sleep in style, also for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. What an incredible deal! Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
Welcome back, everyone, to this week's episode of Rebel Wrap Up. We are broadcasting live from the Circuit World of Blue Ridge, and we want to say thank you to them for letting us host here this week and every week as well. And then also, I would be messing up if I did forget to leave out our sponsors for food and beverage, which is Papa's Pizza to Go and Pepsi. So I want to say thank you to them for providing the food and beverage, and I know that these guys appreciate it as well.
Yes, ma'am, we do.
Now, did y'all didn't practice today, did you?
Yes,
we
ma'am.
did.
You did?
In the rain. Yes,
In the
ma'am.
rain, too?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
It was a debate with Coach and I, how much we needed to go out and
I felt it was necessary.
how much we needed to do.
Plus, I had my rain gear with me, so it was all right.
So he talked me into it.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Well, I know that you guys especially appreciate the food because
Absolutely.
Logan's over there like,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's gonna get some more when he.
Tommy can eat too. We know that.
Yeah, you guys can take all the pizza that you want. But we're going to talk a little bit in this segment, actually a lot of it, about Friday night's game against the Lumpkin County Indians. It'll be the next region game for you guys. It is at home, which I know you all have to appreciate that as well after
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
traveling
Being on
that
the
you've
road.
done. Yes, exactly. To Dawson County and some of those other places down south from here as well. So also in the region is Region 7, Class 3A. East Hall is going to be at North Hall. Dawson County is going to be at Cherokee Bluff. And then Greater Atlanta Christian will have a bye week. So those are some other games happening in the region. Kind of give you all a scan of that region as well.
Good to get to rest up for us.
Yeah, they do.
Every team has.
Everybody has an off week before they play us.
Yeah, they need it, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, well, we're going to talk about this week's game against Lumpkin County. And Coach Cheatham, what have you guys decided is your biggest thing you're going to focus on, I guess, for this Friday night?
Well, offensively, they are a spread type wing team. They do a good job. The quarterback is Tucker Kirk, and he's a left-handed guy. They got a good running back in Bojack Dowdy, number 35, and there's some good receivers. They block well up front with their center of 56, and they do some really good things. I was fortunate enough to be able to coach Tanner and Tucker when they were young and at the middle school age, and be a part of that family. So it's kind of a special deal. Them get those guys coming back up to our place. Got to see them last year, but they're good offensively. Tucker makes a lot of good decisions. They run a buck sweep well. They give you a lot of different formations to get you out of place. Then on defense, they're a 4-2-5 with a couple big linemen in the middle that we've got to move. Give you an under front. They give you a number 15 out there on the edge. It sets the edge for them, and they're good. They're good in the secondary. So we got to do what we do. There's some things we feel like we can take advantage of, but it's all about execution. If we execute the way we're supposed to, then it'll work. If we don't, then it'll be one of those nights. We got to take care of us.
Well, it sounds like it's a little bit of a friendly rivalry. Is that a?
Yeah, it's a friendly. I mean, for me, knowing Billy, the principal there, and some of those guys down, Paul Hoke is there now, and he and I were also in Jefferson area together. His son's number 14 plays in the secondary, Jared Hoke. So I know him from way back, and a lot of respect for those guys, and glad that they're coming up. Glad we're not going to them, and it'll be good to see them though.
Right.
And I'll enjoy coaching against some kids that I got to coach at one time.
And it's your homecoming game.
It is,
which makes it even more exciting.
Well, it was for some people, for coaches, makes it more and trying to get
another
everybody
thing.
focused. Yeah.
Right. So, guys, I want to bring it back over to you. We have Tommy and Logan over here. Now, you guys both play on defense, so let's talk a little bit about how you're playing to stop that Lumpkin County offense, especially, like Coach Cheatham said, I mean, I cover the Lumpkin County Indians, so I can tell you just about everything. No, I'm just kidding. But they focus more on their running game. You guys are going to have your hands full a little bit with Bojack, how much he runs and everything, and they've got some other guys stepping up to do that as well. So tell us a little bit about what you guys are working on individually. And Tommy, we'll just go ahead and start with you. What have you been working on this week?
I've been working on mostly my footwork to get better at it, because every time I've went into a game, I've gotten so close of getting the quarterback almost every time. So I've been working on my feet more often.
You get that big sack this week.
Yes.
That's right. That's right. I'm going to be on the sideline. I'm going to try to get a picture of it, too, for you.
Okay.
When it happens, I'm going to be like, I got it. All right. And Logan, how about you?
I've been working on getting faster off the ball, really, and coach has been yelling at us this week, like Patterson, defense line coach. He's been really wanting us to hit the guy in front of us as hard as we can. We slant, whatever we do. So that's what I'm trying to work on, is really just making a big mess in the middle.
There you go. Sounds like a plan. Now, Coach Kuna, I want to ask you about the offense a little bit. You know, the Lumpkin County defense, they've got a pretty solid D line. So what are you guys working on to make sure that you can create some holes for your guys and also make a play?
Well, you know, Coach alluded to it a little bit. Not that we want to do anything really different. We just want to, in some senses, keep it simple and do what we do best. You know, stay within our own realm. And, you know, last week we had a few injuries and we had a few setbacks and we had to shuffle a few guys around. You know, Dylan had to move from right tackle, where he had practiced all week, and wound up playing center the majority of the game. Rico practices all the time at both of the guard positions and wound up playing right tackle, which he hadn't any reps at. So, you know, those guys adjusted and adapted very well in the course of the game. And just because, you know, a testament to them paying attention in practice, you know, Rico's a guy we feel we can play anywhere. He's very intelligent. He works hard. He's got great footwork, great technique. You know, we put him in a spot that he hadn't practiced all week and did a fine job. Now this week, we think we have all the pieces in the place where we expect him to play on Friday night. I thought they had a great week of practice. You know, you talked about them having a big front, and they got some big guys up front, but you know, it's all about leveraging technique and getting into pads and just moving by them, creating some seams. Traylon's a great running back. He works hard. If we can give him a little bit of daylight and get some hats on hats, I think he can have a big night for us. And then obviously, as we run the ball, it opens up our passing game to give us some opportunities for Luke to get the ball downfield to our receivers.
There you go. And speaking of Traylon, you know, I want to give him a shout out because I was looking at some stats. He's getting up on 1,000 yards rushing, I think.
And Traylon's another one. Last week we asked him to do something different. You know, he hadn't played in the safety, so he really didn't come off the field, and he hadn't played safety probably since July. So, you know, he had a lot on his plate last week, and he responded, ran the ball as hard as he ever did, and still went out there and played 60-some snaps on defense as well.
An overall theme that I'm really hearing from this conversation and from previous shows that we've had in the past is that you guys are blessed to have players that are really just like, tell me where you want me to go, Coach.
Absolutely. I think that's what we are had on and what we are here is that these guys will do what they're asked to do whenever they're asked to do it and whatever it takes. Like James Mercer one time said, you know, Coach, I'll do whatever it takes to help the team. It doesn't matter where. If I have to stand on the sideline or you need a bigger body in there, you know, that's the kind of attitude these guys have. And
we really ask that role of them in practice a lot of times, you know. And you know, Logan Friend's a big guy, and they have a big defense tackle. We need you to be him this week. We need to simulate that type of action, and we'll put players in positions in practice just to prepare for the next opponent because they have skills and traits that are similar to our opponents, and they assume those roles, and they do a great job preparing us.
You put yourself out there, huh, Logan?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Coach Cheatham, tell us a little bit about, too, and you may have alluded to this a little bit. I keep hearing you guys will say something like, oh, yeah, that's something. It's almost like you're reading my mind a little bit. But anyway, so tell us about how you're making sure that these guys stay focused because you got homecoming coming up. And, you know, it's hard. You get out there, you see all the excitement and everything. It might be a little bit hard to make sure that these guys are keeping zoned in. So tell us a little bit about how you do that.
Again, I think it's routine. I don't think you change a lot. They know what to expect. They know when to be on the field. They know when their group work is coming. And we do specific things Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And even though it was pouring rain, we've tried to stay within that realm today, a little bit shorter. So I think maybe that routine helps you a little bit. Obviously, encouragement and trying to bring those guys along. and forgetting what's behind and then pushing forward to what's ahead, and the significance of it, I think helps you to focus a little bit more. I'm really proud of how our kids have prepared this week, and it's tough. You give up 80 something points to 7 in the past 2 weeks, and it's not good. It's not easy, but it teaches us those lessons that we talked about in the first week of the show. Those things about, well, what do you do now when you get punched in the mouth? Well, what are you going to do? And as we all know, we've got to keep fighting, and that's what they've done.
I'm glad to hear that. Now, Tommy and Logan, Coach Cheatham mentioned it a little bit, talking about, maybe you've had a couple of bad games these last couple of weeks. I know this guy right here. I know that he gives some of the best motivational speeches that I've ever heard. But other than that, tell us a little bit about how you keep one another encouraged and focused to brush the last game off and move on to the next one. And Tommy, we'll start with you.
I think it gets tough when we losing and stuff. But I think we're at a place now where the O-line has gotten better, because I'm going back to what Coach Kuna said. We had two other guys step up, and they've been doing really well. Rico on there, and I think he'll become an awesome athlete by the time he's a senior.
Great, Tommy.
That's good.
There you go. And how about you, Logan? Have anything you want to add?
Kind of like Tommy said, getting better every week. We lose, and just pick yourself up and go again next week. That's all you can really do. You go back to work and make yourself better. Go out there and just go for what matters. We got this game this week. It's a playoff. Go to playoffs. Mm-hmm. It's a big deal for Fannin County.
That's exactly right. And Coach Cheatham, Logan just mentioned it a little bit, talking about you've got this game against Lumpkin County, and if I'm not mistaken, if you get this game, that pretty much guarantees you a spot in the playoffs.
Yes, ma'am.
So, tell us how that's got to feel, because last season was the first season that in the history of the school that you guys had gone to the playoffs and gone to a postseason game.
I think you set consistency, and that's where you create a winning style program, is when you consistently make the playoff year after year, or you take a game further in the playoffs. So you set a standard. We set a standard last year. Now we got to live up to the standard, and our next step is to win a playoff game. Obviously, going into fourth, if we're the 4th seed, playing the number 1 seed is going to be tough on the road. But just to be playing in week 11, or as you would say, week whatever, we call it week 11 in the playoffs, is a tremendous thing for this county, and for I don't know how many times that's happened in the history of the program. No, it's never happened in AAA, and I think 2008 maybe was the last time it was back to back. So it's a testament to these coaches and kids at what we've done over the past couple of years, and it just constantly builds, and we try to just push a little bit further. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time and process.
Yep, you're exactly right. And Coach Kuna, I saw you kind of sitting over there nodding your head a little bit.
Well, yeah, and as I because maybe originally it was a goal to get in the playoffs, but now it's become an expectation. We're going to be in the more times you're there, the more success you're going to continue to have with it. So I think these guys, like Logan being a freshman, that's the expectation for him all through high school, is to be a playoff team every year, and that's the way it should be.
Yep. And Logan, how excited are you your first year, getting a chance to go to the playoff game?
I've been to a lot, but not varsity. Anyways,
Yeah.
I've been to championship middle school, but it ain't nothing like that. I imagine everyone's been, but it's really exciting getting to play for this team. And how I watched last year, we went 4-6, we made playoffs. I was really happy about that. And now we're doing 6-4, winning season. I'm just saying we're going 6-4.
Yeah. You say it'll
I'm just
happen.
saying we're gonna go. So maybe even 7-4. You never know. But anyways, yeah, I'm really excited, and I just take baby steps every year.
Yeah, that's all you can do. And Tommy, tell us really quick how excited you are.
I'm super excited for this game. I've been waiting to come back in, because I got so close. This was like weeks ago. I went against their JV. I think it was the same quarterback who was their JV quarterback. I got so close to hitting him, and then he just threw it down the field to the guy. But we almost beat him during that game. their JV was really good. They scored like I don't remember what the score was. I don't care. But this week I'm really excited because then I get to go pound the quarterback for what he did to us on
That's
JV.
right, Tommy.
There you go. There you go. You're going to get that sack this week. I'm feeling it. All right, well, that's all we have time for. I wish we had a little bit more time, but that's all we have time for this week on this week's episode of Rebel Wrap-Up. Again, I want to thank Circuit World of Blue Ridge for letting us host here, and Papa's Pizza to Go and Pepsi for the food and drinks. Now, don't forget, 7:30 is kickoff time for these guys at home against the Lumpkin County Indians. I will be there on the sideline, as will our sideline reporter for the Rebels, Reagan Young. So check out our Facebook at TeamFYNSports, Instagram and Twitter at TeamFYNSports for score updates and more on the game. And then also on Monday morning at 10:10 a.m., you can catch me on Instant Replay, North Georgia's only live online sports show, on our Team FYN Sports Facebook page. Where I'll be recapping this game and talking about the great game you guys play on Friday night.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
go get them, guys. Good luck this week
We
to
appreciate
our
it very
Fannin
much.
County Rebels, and we'll sign off for this week.